This one is a C220 Mercedes Benz 1996. Customer came in with multiple troubles. The biggest issue was the door locks didn't work due to the pump was defective in the trunk on the right hand side. I was able to get it from off of eBay. It wasn't that much. It was easy to change. That fixed the trouble. The biggest trouble that we're having is that when car is turned off and hit the lock, sometimes it would lock, sometimes it doesn't. So if you look at the mirror, it flashes. It's indicating that it's locked or unlocked, but doesn't move the door lock actuator, even though after I replace the pump, that switch works. Now, here's the trouble. When this thing is locked, like that, and randomly, factory alarm goes off. And when it goes off, of course, you cannot start the car. And you try to push the button, doesn't activate or deactivate the alarm system, nor the switch. When you put this key into the driver's side door, that's supposed to activate and deactivate, like this one does not. Most of the time, see this? It didn't lock. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So what I've noticed is when this thing thinks alarm is engaged, even though door lock is not locked, randomly factory alarm goes off and they cannot deactivate it by doing this, because this doesn't work, that doesn't work. I tried several different methods, none worked. The customer said, can we just get rid of a factory alarm system and just give me a keyless entry? So I said, sure. We decided to put this. Works. Close the door. I'm going to unlock it first. So it locks. Unlocks. Now, this does not deactivate the factory alarm system when I unlock it, because whatever the function that's supposed to be done through the doors doesn't work, even though the switch inside the latch checks out okay. There are two brown wires, one with brown white, one with brown. That does go from 12 volt to the ground when I do key up and down or factory remote control up and down. Yet it still sets the alarm off. So we decide to do manual wiring here. It's a little messy because I've been playing with it. You will find two wires. One's a black wire, the other one's a blue wire. Either side is one on driver's side, there's the same one on passenger side. They're supposed to be lock and unlock. But this doesn't deactivate the factory alarm system. So while I'm working on the vehicle, alarm will randomly go off and we have no way to deactivate that, even with the remote, no other key in the doors. So I was going crazy for two things. One, if I measure the lock voltage, which is this let's see, the black wire, which is supposed to be locked, it's supposed to go from 12 volt to 0. So when you put 1.2 second pulse, the negative pulse on this black wire, that's supposed to be locked. Same with the unlock. But I'm going to show you what it does. Alright, so I got my test light connected here. It's supposed to be 12 volt at rest, unless you do negative pulse, which is either from the switch or from the keyless entry, and that goes to 0 like that. That is the unlock. And this one is a lock. Now this voltage here, as you can see, it's not a 12 volt, rather it's only 4 volt, 4.3. So what's happening is, because it's only 4.3 volt, the car side is confused. Is it locked? Is it unlocked? And I think that's why the factory alarm keeps going off, because it's not ground or it's not 12 volt like this unlock pulse. That one is a 12 volt, 11.6, but not the lock pulse. It's only 4.3. I said, okay, so the driver side must be bad. So I went to the passenger side, found the same wire, does exactly the same thing. And it keeps going off randomly. It goes on and off, and we couldn't just deactivate it because key doesn't work, remote doesn't work. So what I found is in the trunk, right next to the battery. There's a battery, obviously. There's a fuse box. I open this one up. Alright. See, it says control unit convenience feature and anti-theft alarm system, which is number 3, which happens to be this one right here. That's the blank here. That's number 1, number 2, number 3. So I just pull this out. It's a 20 amp. It's a 20 amp. So this is second one because the first one is a blank. So 1, 2, 3. This is alarm system. Once you've done that, no more alarm system. So when I do a keyless entry, put this back in. So I'm gonna leave this one out. So when I do keyless entry, this avatar we're using, DEI product, it gives you option to set the door lock pulse, positive, negative, and you can make it 3.2 seconds or something, or 0.8, which is the default. So I made it 3.2 seconds or 3.5 seconds. It doesn't always work because the ground pulse coming out of the keyless entry module is not strong ground. So we did two relays create stronger ground. So I put one on the lock, one on unlock. Now, it did work initially, then same thing happened. It wouldn't lock the doors all the time. So I said, why doesn't it lock? So I tried on the passenger side, same wires, didn't work. So I was reading DEI's note. There is a one wire which is at the switch, and the back of it is supposed to be a wire. I could not get to it. I took this heater control module out. There's a huge heat sink and I couldn't find it, but DI also said you can find the wire on the passenger side, but there's a big note. It said it may not work all the time. So I said, if it doesn't work all the time, what do I do? So I said, hell of it, I'm just gonna grab that wire anyway. And I noticed it is negative pulse for the lock, positive pulse for the unlock. But the unlock function always worked using this blue wire here. So I said, I'm gonna leave that alone, using it as an unlock pulse. Then I used this button, which is negative pulse for the lock, which is a white green wire on the passenger side. Let me open that up. is a white green wire that's coming from this. If I shoot negative pulse here, it locks and it works every time. The unlock, as I said, it worked all the time without having any hesitation. But the lock wire on that side or this side never worked right, even though it's the same connectivity here. As you can see, there is a junction little connection right there. This one is missing, which is a black wire. I'm going to put some tape on it. That is the lock pulse, but same thing over here. It only shows 4.3 volt, which doesn't work. I have a good feeling that BCM in the trunk, maybe something wrong with it. And maybe something wrong with the keyless entry module also, but we're not going to go crazy because customer said, I don't care about the alarm system, just make the keyless entry work. So we're going to just grab this one as the lock pulse. As I said, I am using the same relay output for the DEI products, door lock wire with the relay, and that's going to be connection to here, which will give me a lock pulse by turning this wire to the ground. The other wire, the blue wire, and same thing over here, that I'm going to use it for unlock. So this will be unlocked from that side, and this wire, which is coming from the key side, the switch side, will be lock wire. And I'll show you when everything is done.